Hi folks, I'm Huntsville, Alabama criminal defense attorney Andrew Segal of Segal and Segal. Today's topic is what you need to know if you or somebody you love is accused of the crime of sexual abuse of a child under the age of 12 in Alabama. First thing you need to know is that this is a very serious crime with very serious punishment. Let's talk about what the elements are in this crime, that is, what is required to prove somebody guilty of this. First thing is that somebody has to be over the age of 16 to be accused of this, and they have to be accused of having touched in a sexual way somebody who is 12 or under. And it has to be a touching that is sexual contact. Alabama law defines that sexual touching as a touching that is done for the purpose of gratifying the sexual desire of either party. That's what, when they talk about a sexual touching, that's what they mean. So, for example, if somebody said, look, I did touch this 12-year-old or 11-year-old or 10-year-old, but that's because they had a bee sting, they had poison ivy, they had a scrape or a cut or something like that, and it wasn't for sexual purposes, that would be a defense. Whether or not that defense would be believed or not would be up to the judge or the jury. If they thought, oh, no, that was just an excuse, it may not be believed. But then again, it may be believed and it may be the truth. So I don't know, but that is a defense. More commonly is, I didn't touch them at all. But the touching, in an instance where somebody is guilty, the purpose of the touching had to have been for sexual gratification. So that's the basics of this particular crime. As I've already said, it is an extremely serious offense. Alabama does not take sexual crimes lightly. The minimum punishment for this offense is 10 years in prison, and we're talking about minimum punishment for somebody who has a clean criminal record. The maximum punishment for somebody who has no prior, any criminal history, not even a parking ticket. The minimum, as I said, is 10. The maximum is 20. We're talking about no good time, no parole, no nothing. So a judge who is thinking, I'm going to be kindly to this person and sentences somebody to 10 years, that person is going to serve the full measure of that 10-year sentence. And when they're done with that sentence, they're still not done with the consequences of the case. That case will have lifelong consequences for them. They will be subject to what is called the SORNA laws. SORNA stands for the Sex Offender Registration and Notification Act. That means that even when they get out of prison, they will have to be registered as a sex offender. They will be subject to the notification laws. Even their driver's license or non-driver ID will say sex offender on it. If they fail to comply with those laws, they could go back to prison, not because of the original offense, but for failing to comply with the laws that pertain to the SORNA laws. Being accused of any type of a sexual crime is a devastating, deadly accusation for somebody to face. If you or somebody you love is accused of a crime like this, it is vital that you speak with an attorney as quickly as you possibly can. In a perfect world, you would contact legal counsel before you have spoken with law enforcement. If you've already spoken to law enforcement, you should contact an attorney as quickly as you can. Hopefully, you will talk to an attorney before you've talked to law enforcement. Hopefully, you will talk to an attorney and not talk to law enforcement until a decision has been made after you speak with a lawyer as to whether or not that's appropriate. You also need to be aware that when you talk to any attorney in Alabama, your communications with that lawyer are confidential and privileged. And that's because Alabama law says that when a person talks to a lawyer, they want that person to feel comfortable talking to that lawyer. That means even if you don't hire that lawyer, they can't talk about it. They are bound by law to keep what you say a secret. If you decide that you want to talk to us, we're not going to charge you for that initial consultation. And that's just because our personal philosophy is that somebody ought not have to pay a lawyer to decide if they want to hire a lawyer. It helps us to evaluate the case as well and to determine whether or not we can help you or to what degree we can help you, and to get a realistic assessment of the case. At any rate, I hope that this short little video has been helpful to you. If you want to give us a call, feel free. The number is below. And thank you for watching.